Nero knowledge teaches a visualization framework to shift your beliefs so that you can have the business, the income, and the life that you want. But most people who try this framework, they get it completely wrong and they get zero results. And that's not because the framework itself is broken or doesn't work. It's because when they close down their eyes, they try to feel, they try to visualize, they try to see it, but nothing really happens. And I've had that problem myself when I tried to visualize, and I had to understand how to fix these problems so I could use the framework. And now I've used that framework to go from 0K to 10K in a month without even knowing where those 10K was supposed to come from. So I've distilled the problems into 3 different problems that I've seen in myself, in the comment sections, and in the clients that I taught this for myself. And once you apply these solutions, you can shift your own beliefs and then get the success that you want in your income, in your business, and in your life. The number one problem when people try to use this visualization formula is that they sit down, they close down their eyes, and they see nothing. And if you don't see anything, it's really hard to create an emotion. And neuroknowledge talks about this as frequency, as vibrations, as feelings, as state, but it all comes down to one word, and that is emotion. If you can't create emotion, the whole framework just stops. And I realized I had this problem myself because I couldn't visualize. When someone would tell me to try to visualize the way the furniture would look in a room, I would close down my eyes and I wouldn't see it. It would just be completely pitch black. And I had the same problem when I tried to go into visualization practices, that I just couldn't visualize. And if you have this problem and you want to fix it, there's a 3-step process. And number 1 is to deepening your relaxation. But as a hypnotist, I've realized that the lower the brainwave state that you can get someone into, the easier they will be able to visualize things. So the more you relax your body, the easier it is going to be to visualize and create those emotions. And that is also part with number 2, which is starting to relax your muscles in your body. So when you start relaxing your mind with deepening your breaths, you also start relaxing your muscles as much as you can. And number 3 is to not start to try to visualize a big scene. Try to visualize something really small and see if you can get that really HD perfect, like 1 line. And then after 1 line, when you can do that, you can do 2 lines. And then you go from there. And then one day you're going to wake up, you're going to be like, okay, I can do this now. And then you can do a full scene. But this is a muscle that you need to train. Okay? And a couple of months ago, I created a free visualization course in my school community. So if you want that, just take that in the description down below. But Nero is very specific. He says, close down your eyes, visualize yourself already being successful with a goal that you want to reach, and having someone that cares about you, like your mother or someone that you love, tell you that, oh my God, I'm so happy that you reached this goal. So they are celebrating you, and that is creating the emotion. And that is the real emotional anchor that you want. But again, if you can't see it, you can't create the emotion. So without emotions, we don't really have anything, and Nero knowledge framework just completely falls apart. So let's say that Nero's framework is working, you can see the scene, but now when you try to put it in your own big goals, it just doesn't work anymore. You can't feel the emotions anymore. And that brings us to problem number 2, and that is that you can't feel the emotion because the goal is too big for your nervous system. So for many people, they will be able to visualize, but once they try to do it for a goal that is very meaningful to them, it will just feel, it will not feel good. It won't feel right. And that is because you are literally rejecting this goal for yourself. You don't believe that you can even reach it. So it doesn't even feel real. It doesn't feel good. It actually feels bad when you visualize it because you don't even feel like it's true to you. And that is also a quote that Nero knowledge usually throws around. You can only have what you already have. And that means that if you are rejecting this when you see it in your mind, it means that you don't have it. You don't believe that you can have it even. So the most important thing with Nero knowledge thing is that the scene doesn't matter. It's the emotion that is attached to the scene that matters. And that is where you can find those limiting beliefs. If the emotion is bad when you think about the goal, then the beliefs are not in support with that goal. And that means either you have to lower the goal, make it smaller, or you have to increase your belief, which is making your belief stronger, that you can believe in yourself even more, that you can reach this. And you decide which one is easiest, but lowering the goal is usually the easiest thing you can do. What's blocking that positive, that powerful emotion is a story underneath that is saying that, oh yeah, this would never happen to someone like me. Or it could be something like, oh yeah, but I don't even have a funnel to get these clients through. I don't even have an offer. These things, these stories that you tell yourself is the whole reason why you don't even believe that you can achieve this goal. And a test that you can do is to say this goal out loud right now. You can pause this video and you say this goal that by the end of 2 months, I will earn $10,000. And then you say it out loud and then you simply wait. And you see what comes back, because you will get a counter from yourself. From your subconscious will just pop up and it will say, no, you can't because you don't have an offer. No, you can't because you're not even confident. No, you can't because you don't even have any followers. And that will show you if you have limiting beliefs towards your goal. And that, in that case, lower the goal or increase your belief. And even if you solve those 2 problems, you can visualize, you can feel it, and it feels good. There's a third problem. And this is a problem that Nero specifically calls out, and it's one of the hardest things that you can ever work on. And that is problem number 3, that they can't carry the emotion throughout the day. So you do the visualization, you sit there in the morning, you visualize for 20 minutes, and you can feel the emotions, you feel really good, you feel really powerful, and then 20 minutes later, you feel stressed, you feel anxious, you don't believe in yourself, you don't feel confident, and now all of a sudden you're expressing this low vibration out into the whole universe. That was what you got from 20 minutes of visualization. So this is the second part of Nero's framework, is that yes, you have to do the internal practice, but you also have to do the outside life practice. And my master in India used to tell me that everyone can be Buddha in a meditation center. The real Buddha is created in real life. So I want you to start looking at this as separate things. You have the first of the practice, and then the second part is holding your vibration high, and that is your emotion high. Because when you have a higher emotional state, you will get better thoughts, more positive thoughts, more easy thoughts, more courageous thoughts. You will get better actions, and you will get better results. People around you will feel it, the clients will feel it, everyone will feel it. So just holding yourself at a high emotional state and understanding when you get these forms of doubt or fear coming in, being able to see them and let them go. And this is the real work. This is the work that no one really wants to do. So the real practice here is to start mapping out and understanding your energy levels. Check in with yourself every hour and see, how do I feel now? And what makes me feel this? And starting to become aware of the thoughts that you're not aware of, so you can consciously shift those and stay in a high emotional state. And if you get this wrong for a period of time, do not judge yourself. I still fail to hold my vibration high sometimes, and it took me months and months to figure this out. Sitting down, visualizing, and then not being able to hold my feelings for 20 minutes after. But when you finally work through all of this, the scene, you're able to visualize, you're able to feel, and with that also much easier being able to hold that feeling throughout the day. And also because you're working on a goal that you believe that you can reach, then you can actually hold that feeling and the goals will manifest or being created or realized in a much faster way. But when I finally worked through all 3, seeing it, feeling it, and then being able to hold this throughout, because I was working on something that I believed that I could do, and then removing all of those resistance, feeling the negative emotions and letting them go, and doing what I can to hold myself at a high emotional state, which means doing the things that made me feel good. That's when you can actually do cool stuff. That's when I started being able to launch my hoodies, my clothing company, my hypnosis business, and actually starting working with people who were much more successful than me and removing those mental blocks, I needed to be in a good emotional state. And these kind of practices has always helped me. And from that emotional state, that's where the magic happens. It's not when you're fearful, when you have doubts, it's when you're at a high emotional state that all the magic seems to happen. So drop a comment on which one you've been having challenges with yourself. I had challenges with all of the three, but is it the feeling, is it the seeing, or is it carrying out that feeling throughout the day? Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.